Today we're going to take it nice and slow. This is the same area that we made the Altoids 10 tinderbox, and I'm going to be looking around for plants that haven't died, that are either blooming or sprouting already. It's the end of April and has been really wet, so I hope you enjoy it. Say hi, Luna. My brother-in-law's doggy. She loves to come out here with me. Well, let's get on with it. That's fiddle dock. Now, it contains something like oleic acid or something like that. It gives it a lemony flavor. You can eat it raw, you can eat it cooked, but don't eat very much of it. If you've got gout, rheumatism, kidney stones, arthritis, steer clear from it because it can flare those things up. Now, it does have vitamin C. I think it's B9, just one of the B's. It's got fiber, iron, potassium. It's all around good plant to eat. But like I said, if you got any of those other issues, be careful with it. And if you don't have those issues, don't eat very much of it. Just be cautious. Don't make yourself sick. Swamp thistle. Growing up pretty tall, has a pink flower on it, but young roots, young leaves, inner leaves, part of the stalk itself. It's all edible. Just do your research. Bring gloves because the thorns are going to hurt. This here is called wood sedge. You can eat the root and the seeds from it. Other than that, there hasn't been any information I can really find on taste. I haven't tried it myself, and no known medicinal uses that I could find anywhere. Coralberry, or Indian currant. Juices from the plants have been known to help with like earaches. They've used the root for fever and menstrual issues, toothache, things like that. However, it is mildly toxic. So until you know what you're doing, stay away from it. This is ragweed. You can use root, boil it in a tea. It's a laxative. You can crush the leaves, and helps poison ivy and insect bites and stings. You can use the plant to help with fever, menstrual issues, such like that. So it's a nuisance, but it has its uses. Keep in mind where you find it. That's the common vetch. It's going to have little leaves like the wind. There we go. That's common vetch. Now, when it's young, you can eat it raw if you want to. Best to eat it cooked. They get a lot bigger than this. They'll have a seed pod. Get them early. can eat those. Now, majority of the plant, like the leaves, they taste like your greens, spinach, turnip, those types of greens. And I heard that the seed pods taste like peas. Now, that being said, stay away from this plant until you know exactly what you're looking at. There are other types of vetches that look almost identical or very close to it, and they're highly toxic. So this is one to steer clear of until you've done your research. That includes the root, the seed pods, the plant itself. Just stay away from it till you know what you're doing. This here's a noble yarrow. You can get the flower heads and the leaves. They help with all sorts of stuff. You can use the leaves as a poultice to disinfect and stem blood flow in cuts and scrapes. You can chew up the leaf for toothache. You can make a tea out of it, and it'll help with a heavy menstrual flow even. There's lots of medicinal uses for this plant. It's really nice. Narrow leaf blue-eyed grass is what this one is. The roots can be used as a tea for children. I don't know how well it works for adults to cure diarrhea. And stomach ache and worms is what you do use the rest of the plant for adults and kids. But if you eat too much of it, you're probably going to end up with diarrhea. On a previous video, I made a fire kit or tinder kit with using this tree. I couldn't remember the name of it then, and I feel silly now when I finally figured it out. It's red cedar or juniper. Now, there are some beneficial things to this plant, or tree I should say, but there's just as many warnings about it. So I really suggest you take your to your studies, figure it out, talk to your doctor, see if you're able to use it or not. And I'm not even going to try to list the pros and the cons because, well, I don't want anything to do with all that. Just do your studies and talk to your medical professional. Tiny little things. See if we can't get it to come in clear. Called beaked corn salad. I haven't tried it myself, but the young leaves and the roots is what I'm told you could eat them. I said I haven't tried it myself. I don't know, but something to keep in mind. There's plenty of them out here. Alright, these little flowers here, the yellow ones, suckling clover. You can chop the plant up pretty good and make a poultice out of it and put it on scrapes and cuts to stem the bleeding. Let's see if I can't get that in there for you. Just little yellow flowers that are part of a clover looking deal. Oops, sorry. Philadelphia fleabane. It is one of the daisies. Help with headaches, gout, diarrhea, all sorts of neat stuff. But if you're pregnant, stay the heck away from it because it can cause a miscarriage. Otherwise, you can eat it if you want to. Now, if you're wandering around and you end up seeing this guy, here. Just remember where it is so you can come back later. It is a sawtooth blackberry, or tall blackberry since they get pretty high. This one comes up to my chest and I'm 6 foot. So I'll be coming back to this later to pick some berries, but for now, being early spring. Oh, and in the first year, you'll have 5 leaves. Every year after that, you're gonna have 3 leaves like this. Hopefully that'll help you identify it, but yeah, you see it around. Definitely keep memory where that's at, because it's gonna be fun getting to that. And be careful. See if I can't get that in there for you. Oh, I lost it. They're just not coming in, but this is even early spring. Those dead ones are still there. They're just going to get bigger, thicker, meaner later. And always be careful because of snakes and stuff, because look, this is what the ground looks like around it. Zoom out. Now, this tree here, I love this tree. A little windy. You see these leaves here? How they are. See how the bark's almost like a freckled with a lighter brown? Yeah, this is a pear tree. You see one of these, remember where they are. Because if you like me, pears are awesome. That's what it looks like stepped away from it. They get pretty tall. So keep them in mind. I want to show you something else about these pear trees. Now, wild pear trees, you do have to be careful with them. Because, I'm trying to get that in there. So I can't go this way. They do have thorns. Wild apple does too, so be careful. If one of those snap off in your skin, it can get infected. Now this one's blackthorn. Okay, now see how the leaves are here, and then see these leaves here. This is a pear tree. This is a blackthorn tree. Okay. They're really close in identification by looking at them. They got the little specks and stuff like that too. Until they get much older, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. But just be careful with them. And this is how close they are apart. They're actually related. This here's a green antelope horn. Leave it alone. It can be toxic and fatal to you and animals. Horses and cows even avoid it. Now, the reason you leave it alone instead of eradicate it is it's good for pollinating insects. And those that are susceptible to latex allergies, leave it alone, especially for you. The sap inside is not good for us. Here's some scarlet Indian paintbrush. As long as you don't eat the green parts, which are toxic, just flower. They're actually edible, more like a seasoning or garnish, really. But you gotta be careful because the green is toxic. Could really hurt you. Okay, so that's just about every plant that I can find that has any current uses as they are that are still alive, still blooming, so you might be able to spot them now and come back to them later when they actually have fruit, or some that are ready to eat or use right now, being springtime. Hope you enjoyed it.